And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second broadcast of the day. Welcome back to the ESL Masters Spring 2024 Europe Qualifier, the very first Open Qualifier here for the spring season. And I'm of course just Live VIP. I'm joined by the amazing people in the chat and by all these amazing players as well. The bracket is massive. The bracket is insane. Exclamation mark B. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves. We just wrapped up with the first Asia Open Qualifier a couple of hours ago. We wrapped it up. We were able to feature the first players making it through into the closed qualifier. Likewise, we are here to find out the same, but with the European region. Again, three regions back to back to back. 3 regions back to back to back are going to be showcased here on the channel. First, we had Asia, followed by Europe, which is currently ongoing, followed by Americas thereafter as well. So 3 regions here tonight. Then we can take a break, then we can get some sleep, and then we can dive right into day 2 tomorrow, as this is the first of 2 open qualifiers. So if your favorite players don't make it in, if your favorite players don't quite qualify, then they have tomorrow as a second chance. They do have a second chance tomorrow instead. And I recommend checking out the bracket because it's massive, it's insane. And you can see here before you, we have our starting players. We have a bit of a TVP. No, my apologies. We have an RvP, as uThermal versus Ziomek is going to be random versus Protoss. Again, uThermal has been a part of this, or has been competing as random for quite some time now. Of course, creating content for his YouTube channel as always, and I'm curious because his random has been very hit and miss. It's been very hit and miss. At times he can roll a race that he's confident with like his Terran, and do very well. At other times we've seen his Zerg and we've seen his Protoss, and it leaves a little bit to be desired, especially against pro players. So a risky maneuver here from uThermal to go for random against his opponent, and we are in a mirror match. Oh my god. Let's go. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Ghost River LE, we have our usually Terran, but now a Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands, representing Team Offside. It is uThermal. And let me quickly fix up his in-game name. Bam, there we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Super People Esports. It is Ziomek. Oh boy, here we go. And again, if you're in the chat, I do recommend checking out the bracket yourselves. And we have some other English broadcasters that are covering some of these matches alongside us. We have Rotterdam somewhere in the bracket, casting his own series. We have Steadfast as well, and ourselves. I think there's only 3 English streams, but I mean, that's better than ESL, better than the Asia qualifiers, where we were literally the only English broadcast for that qualifier. So, year after year, we're the only broadcasters that cover every single region. I'm gonna try and do that again here. I mean, I'm still a little bit under the weather, so I'm not so confident, but I'll try and do my best to cover every single region, something that no other streamer does out there. We do what we can, and to be honest, by the end of it, our brain is a little bit incoherent. Like, we have a hard time stringing sentences together because it's just been a brutal weekend of StarCraft. But we'll try and do it again. Let's go. We're here for it, bud. We're here for it. As we have a gate expand. Okay, Ziomek going for a gate expand into Cybercore. Economic opener, greedy opener here from our blue Protoss player. Meanwhile, across the map, uThermal going for a 2-gate opener himself. Could be tempted to go into a 1-base all-in. Could be very tempted. We'll see what uThermal does whip out instead. We do have that probe out on the map. We will be throwing down a proxy pylon. This may just be a proxy pylon for a Stargate to expand, get into our natural base, and do some economic damage with oracles instead. We'll keep an eye on uThermal. Again, for now, he's the one who has to respond to the greed of Ziomek. Shield battery has been thrown down. Rush distance by ground here on Ghost River is actually quite short. Can be very aggressive on this map. For now, we have 2 stalkers, do have another handful of Stalkers on the way behind this. It's going to be a Robo follow-up here from Ziomek. Twilight Council from our Orange Protoss player. And there it is. It is not going to be a Stargate. It's going to be a third gateway instead. One base all in. It's going to be a one base all in by uThermal. It's going to be Blink based as well. We should be rushing into Blink in towards a fourth gateway, and it's going to be a one base. I imagine a 4 gate all in, but now it is going to be 3 gateways, and yeah, we're going to be quite committed here. We are going to be quite committed indeed. So far, Ziomek responding beautifully, going for that Robo. We'll gain access to Immortal production with the power of Immortals, with a handful of Stalkers, with a shield battery, with an overcharge. We're going to be perfectly safe and sound, at least initially. The power of Blink gives you the power of mobility, and uThermal, with a mass amount of Blink Stalkers, doesn't have to try to break down the front door. He could try to bypass the army, bypass the defenses, and go straight into the main base. That's going to be the big avenue here, the big win condition for uThermal, is trying to outposition Ziomek. We'll see if he can. But now it's going to be rallying across the map. But now he is going to be rallying on out. Trying to keep up with the rushing of his opponent. Ziomek now has his first Immortal. Second pylon on the way. Second shield battery on the way. Just to be able to maintain himself. We can see uThermal rotating around. I am loving the spotter pylon here from Ziomek. Again, uThermal does need high ground vision, but he soon will get it. As he can warp in an Adept across the map, for example. Can warp in a Sentry for hallucination. Adept would be able to shade into the main. Regardless, the armies are going to be trying to bounce off each other. You do see uThermal diving in the army, gets a Stalker. Not bad. Does manage to get one of those Stalkers. Doesn't lose a Stalker of his own, not yet. Again, just dancing with the army. Gets the Sentry as well. Good pickoffs here from uThermal. Behind this, there's that Sentry. With the Sentry, we can hallucinate. We can get high ground vision. We can dive into the main. Again, so far, uThermal has been trading well. And yeah, it looks like he is thinking about headed towards that left-hand side. But now we have a third Immortal. No shield battery in the main base, by the way. I am concerned. Shield battery in the main. There's that hallucination, and we're going for the dive into that main base. Yeah, Blinks right in. Immortals are out of position. Stalker's out of position as well. We're going for the Robo. We're going to get the snipe. Without that Robo, no more Immortals. We're only on 3. I mean, 3 is still a good amount, but again, we would like more. uThermal gets the hell out of there. Still has yet to expand. Remember, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Ziomek. But now he's down that Robo. Going for the pylon. Ooh, that was an Artosis pylon as well. Ay, ay, ay. Big oversight there from Ziomek not to have a second pylon. And uThermal is picking this army apart. You can see the Stalkers going down. Good target firing as well. No overcharge. No shield battery. Ziomek even just miscontrolling a little bit. Clicking on that gas geyser. Boys are being pulled. And uThermal is pulling it off. Like again, Ziomek, he has double the worker count compared to his opponents. But the economy doesn't matter right now. As I say that, the production is getting back up and running. Warp Gate is finishing. Blink is on the way for Ziomek, but the final Immortal falls. There's that overcharge, but uThermal, he's got double the Stalker count. He killed all the Immortals. More shield batteries on the way. Still no setup in the main base, so we can always avoid it. Yeah, uThermal able to just once again pick away at the army. Ziomek, he just needs a little bit more time. Now we do see uThermal expanding. But uThermal, we need to end the game here. He does get the Cyber Core. Pushing on forward into the natural base, but the shield batteries are finishing up just in time. Yeah, the shield batteries do finish. Ziomek, this has been a shaky defense, but he's surviving. He's holding. Ziomek is still holding on. Ziomek, he has his own blink. And with that, you can see him just counteract the blink of his opponents. Zelts are trickling in. The army of uThermal now are taking some losses. Ooh, Stalkers are going down. Ziomek is in this. Pops the overcharge, tops up his army. Immortal production has restarted. And the longer this goes on, we mentioned before, the worse it is for uThermal. He needed to get more damage, he needed to end the game, and he was unable to, and now Ziomek, he survives. He's getting a third. uThermal still getting his own natural up and running. And Ziomek, he's able to maintain his position here, he's taking a lead, extending it. He's got Blink just like his opponent, he's got Immortal production over that of uThermal. Still maintains the higher worker count, has the faster third base. Now, based on the previous control, I do want to say that uThermal has maybe better blink control and he could try to flex his micro. But outside of that, there's no forge, there's no +1, there's no charge, there's no robo production. Speaking of all those things, forge just now begins for Ziomek. That is going to be for +1. Things are going to get better here for Ziomek. Third base now on the way for both players. Now, if Ziomek is too passive, if uThermal is able to somehow keep Ziomek busy back at home, then uThermal can recover. You know, he can get into DTs or disruptor production, or, you know, get into some other kind of advantage here in terms of tech. But Ziomek, he's moving out across the map, and there's not much to slow him down. There's not much to keep him pinned back. Force fields are thrown down. We can avoid it though with those Blink Stalkers. That should bleed off a couple of Stalkers. Yeah, but alas, we can just dive on the army. The Immortals are going hand overcharges while boys are being pulled. Again, they have to be. The juggling looking good here for Ziomek, and he's looking to snowball out of control. uThermal, he almost did pull off the one base all in. He almost did punish Ziomek, but wasn't able to kill him, wasn't able to do enough damage. And Ziomek here with the counter attack. He's snowballing out of control. Still has 2 Immortals alive. GG gets called, and Ziomek will take game number 1. GG. A solid game there out of Ziomek. Again, his win condition was just to defend, was just to survive. I was feeling concerned for Ziomek, if you remember, when he lost his first 3 Immortals, when he lost his Robo, right? Like, it was like a cascading, like just a turn of events there for Ziomek, where he was out of position, he lost his Robo in the main base, he lost his Pylon, he lost all of his Immortals. But what's important is that uThermal didn't get into the natural, and he did not camp the production. He wasn't able to touch the economy, didn't kill any probes. Because of that, it didn't matter that he killed all those Immortals. Ziomek, he survived, maintained his economy, and was able to snowball from there. GG, very well done by Ziomek. And Ziomek is 1 game away from advancing on into the next round. uThermal has to fight back here and now to try to force that ace match. Oh boy. Here we go. So getting into game 2. For those that are curious, uThermal is still committed to random. Is still committed. Oh my god, and we have rolled our race. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of side Delta, we have our traditionally Terran player from the land of the Netherlands, but he rolled random and he's rolling as Zerg. Still not his main race, so I am concerned. We'll see if he can still pull this off though. Down in this series, can he bounce back? It is uThermal. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Team Super People Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is Ziomek. as I quickly just fix things up here. There we go. Again, for those that are maybe newer fans of StarCraft and are maybe unfamiliar with uThermal, uThermal, he's honestly a pretty accomplished pro player, or he was an accomplished pro player, but in recent years he did retire essentially. He stepped away. He was on Team Liquid for a very long time, left Team Liquid a couple of years ago, and has been more focused on creating content. You know, he's more of a... I mean, his meme is he's the YouTube man. He has a very successful YouTube channel, and he does make a lot of videos. He's got a great personality as well. He's a great guy. But because of this, because he's been focusing on his content creation, again, his main focus isn't on improving in StarCraft. You know, he doesn't practice the way that he used to. He doesn't compete the way that he used to. And as a result as well, he has embraced playing random and playing all 3 races instead of just one. And the reality is that even though he's a good player with all 3 races, that is true, his off races are not as strong as his main race. You know, Terran is really where he does thrive the most. It's where he has the best opportunity to cause upsets. Here with Zerg and Protoss, it's going to be an uphill battle. I mean, on the one hand, yes, Ziomek, he isn't, you know, a max pack. Ziomek isn't a Showtime, but he's still a strong player. Ziomek is still definitely one of the best in Europe nonetheless, and you know, can uThermal's off race really keep up with Ziomek? We're here to find out. We are here to find out. For now, it is going to be a gate expand into the Cybercore standard opener here from our Protoss player. Do see uThermal likewise getting into his own opener as well. Again, it looks like we only made a handful of lings. I've been focusing on queen production, getting into our standard setup here on 2 bases, working towards eventually a 3rd base as well, I imagine, from the side of our Zerg player from uThermal. We shall see. Wonder if Offside Gaming is Mark's own team. I mean, so for those who are maybe unaware, Offside, of course, is a sister team of Onside Gaming, and Offside did pick up uThermal for competing in WTL in World Team League. It was announced a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago at most, that uThermal was picked up on a... Oh God, we've seen this before. Picked up at least on a seasonal basis as a mercenary for WTL. Meanwhile, that is a fast lair. That is Overlord speed on the way. It's looking like a Ling Queen all in. It's looking like a drop of Lords. Oh boy. Yeah, we're not joining up any further than that. The lair hasn't spotted. Big scout here from Ziomek. This lair is far too early, and there's no reason to have a lair this early on unless we're going for an all-in. Whether it's a Nidus-based all-in or whether it is drop of Lords, regardless, Ziomek should realize that something is wrong. And how will Ziomek respond? For now, his gateways are finishing up. Queens are going to be soon waddling across the map. Lings are amassing as well, and there are those drop of Lords. The Queens are soon going to be coming. Now, what's important here is that this needs to get damage done. We're cutting workers at 29, and the reality is that even if uThermal kills the 3rd base, that's not enough damage. Even if this 3rd base is killed, you can see the Ziomek, he's got 41 probes, he's got a hefty economy here. If Ziomek minimizes his losses, if he holds onto his natural instead, then he can recover, he can bounce back and retake his 3rd base and get into a longer game from a better position. Ooh, as lings are flooding in! The wall is not a wall. Ziomek, the wall left open there. Unfortunately, the Stalker got surrounded. Lings, they flood into the main base. They're going for their 2nd Stalker. Big pickoffs. 2 Stalkers go down. Doesn't sound like a lot, but in and all in, every unit counts, especially for the Protoss. Queens, they get dropped across the map. They're going to be setting creep. And this 3rd base is going to be forfeit. I don't see a world where we can save this. Void Razor on the way. We cancel the shield battery. The Nexus does finish. Nexus does finish, and again, we just have to be very careful to overexpend. We spoke about this. There's no saving the space. Ziomek should be aware of that, and he has to play this very carefully. No shield battery at the natural, by the way. No shield battery, no overcharge. Very risky. Now we start a shield battery, but this is a late reaction, and Ziomek, he's supply blocked. Ziomek is supply. Look, he needs to free up some supply. I mean, the Void Ray does go down. We can warp in. We desperately need more units as uThermal is just link flooding into that natural. And he's breaking through. Gets the Oracle. Shield Battery was just far too late here. And uThermal, he has done it. He's broken that natural. He's broken the natural, and with that, he is going to be breaking the main base, breaking the game here for Ziomek. Production's getting depowered. How many gateways do we have active? We have 2 gateways in the main base. But soon we'll be losing our cyber core. And again, like, we just did not take the all-in seriously enough. Ziomek, his reaction was just a little bit too lax. And from here, now we can drone. Now we are droning. Getting up to 49 workers, taking our gases, Evo Chamber for upgrades. Roach Speed is on the way alongside the Roach Warren, of course. And the natural is going to go down. And Ziomek, he's in a lot of trouble right now. I mean, yes, he is setting up towards, what, 6 gateways and Twilight Council, but this is just going to take far too long. Basically, it looks like Ziomek is going for a 1 base all-in. Like, it's his only answer. It's his only way out of this, but even then. The problem is it's going to take far too long. There we go. Boys are being pulled. We're long. Never mind. We're long distance mining. You have creeping spread all around the 3rd base, the natural, and the 4th. We are attempting to expand, but we have queens to deny that probe. Probe goes down. And if Ziomek's plan here is to expand and take that natural, I mean, that's just not going to happen from here. And Ling Roach stuttering on forward. GG gets called, and uThermal ties up the series 1-1 with a 2-base all-in. GG. GG, well played. uThermal does tie things up 1-1 here. Again, the all-in was scattered ahead of time. I want to put a little bit of onus here on Ziomek. I do think that his reaction was lackluster. His reaction was very delayed, and again, it felt like he just did not take his opponent seriously enough there. With that, Ziomek, he was kind of caught with his pants. He shouldn't have been caught with his pants down, but he was caught out, and things very quickly snowballed out of control. GG, uThermal does take the game, and now we find ourselves in the ace match. And is uThermal gonna finally roll Terran? He's gonna be able to play as his main race. We're here to find out. We are here to find out. As we're going to be loading into Game 3 on Oceanborn. Once again, random has been picked, but what are we rolling as? Protoss, Zerg, or do we get Terran here for the ace match? Do we get the trifecta? At least that's what I'm hoping for. Oh, we got it! Let's go, we got it! Finally rolling his main race. We have the random player rolling as Terran, representing Team Offside, and from land of the Netherlands, it is uThermal, aka the Protoss fan. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Polish Protoss player representing Super People Esports. It is Ziomek. Let us go. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be starting over with a proxy. Yep, we do have the proxy racks on the way. Now, this could be a couple of different things. I would assume this is going to be Proxy Reaper. Based on the rally, makes sense. It's going to be Proxy Reaper. This SCV is designed to go back in towards that natural and throw down a bunker, either behind the mineral line or in the mineral line. We can also try to go for an eBay block, depending on the opener. So, uThermal can be quite aggressive here. It can be quite chaotic, and Alas, we still don't know what's going on. The probe scout does come in, and now we get eyes on the depot. Again, up until now, Ziomek wasn't aware of the race. Wasn't aware of what he was playing against. And because of that, his initial building placement is not in position to wall off the main base. To wall off the Reaper cliff. Because of that, the Reaper gains access to the main.
Game paused.
Ooh, as it looks like we're getting a bit of a pause, and hopefully everything is okay. It looks like we might have some latency issues. I spoke earlier how, you know, he is the YouTube man, he is the content creator, and it looks like he was doing like a challenge earlier. Maybe like a clicking challenge, I guess, like clicking and to build all of his units. Because of that, it looks like he needs a moment. Looks like he does need a moment here to rehockey everything as his Terran before we can dive into this. And so far, it's still a little bit too early to call. Again, there are certain advantages to playing random, as we can see here. Because Ziomek didn't know what race uThermal was, he didn't wall off the Reaper cliff, which means uThermal's gonna have a much easier time bouncing in between the bases with his first Reaper. So a really nice build and a really nice start for uThermal, but it comes down to the execution. Is he going to be able to get some damage done? Is he going to be able to minimize his own losses and maximize his own damage? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Now though, we're going to have to take a moment here. Likewise, Ziomek has to adapt. He knows that he's a little bit vulnerable, and he is making a zealot first, a safety zealot first, which will help against any kind of would-be bunker. But yeah, outside of that, yeah, there we go. It looks like our players are ready. Hockey issues have been resolved. We're diving back in.
Game resumed.
We are diving back in. Speaking of, there's that eBay block here at the natural, but the Zell was already on the way. With the arrival of the Zell, the eBay should be shut down. And this Reaper, we'll see what it can get done, as it should be able to slip into the main base without too much issue. There we go, it does slip in. Gonna attempt to focus down a couple of workers. Looks like we get one probe in the main. Oh, two probes in the main. We're going for a third. Zealot has arrived. Probe takes some damage. You do get a third probe. We're gonna get a fourth. Yeah, fourth probe goes down. This first Reaper getting far too much damage done. 5 probes go down in total. Yes, we get a surround. Yes, we clean up that Reaper, but that was 1 Reaper for 5 workers. Well worth it here for uThermal. Behind this, he's getting into a 1-1-1 setup. This is borderline 1 base all in. We should have had a natural base by now. Okay, there we go. Now we get the natural base on location. Very delayed here after the starport, but it's on the way nonetheless. So we're not all in, but we are committed. What I mean by that is playstyle here from uThermal does tell us that he needs to kill some workers and make this worth his while, because he's delaying his economy in favor of army. And it looks like he's going and setting up for a cyclone drop. Second cyclone on the way, medevac as well. Should be for drop play. Should be 4 drop players Reaper. Hold on, I'm dying a little bit. As Reaper does slip in. Attempts to get another probe, but is going to get shot down. Good clean up there by Ziomek. There's a cyclone drop moving out. Behind this, getting into our 3-1-1 setup. Raxes are being settled into. Tanks are on the way as well. The tank lab on that factory. As we're getting to early tank production, that is going to be able to shut down any kind of Twilight Council play.
Base is under attack.
The drop comes in, and we do confirm that the Twilight Council is done and Blink is in production. And we are getting probe kills. Is that 3 extra probes? 4 extra probes even. 4 workers go down. Cyclone's still looking pretty healthy. Still left untouched. Going back in for a second drop. Oh my god. Yeah, we get into the main base. We get a kill here on the on the Zealot. They're dropping back in. I do see someone in the chat. Sometimes people say their race at the beginning, just sign of respect, not required. That's usually not done in pro play. That's usually only done when laddering, just like to be nice. But if you ever see a player competing as Protoss at the competitive level, then also competing as Protoss, competing as random at the competitive level, then they typically, I don't think they've ever said their race actually. As that's kind of the reason why you would want to play random, is that does give you a bit of an edge. Meanwhile, do you have that Raven Harass coming in? Likewise, Cyclone Drop still being active. Some worker kills. Behind this, we do see uThermal just settling into his own 2-base setup as well. He did initially go for tank production, but it looks like we've cut tanks at 1, only a single tank. This tells me that if Ziomek had gone for 4-gate blink, then uThermal would have been in some trouble. But it looks like he has confirmed that, again, there wasn't an abundance of gateways. There's a 3rd base, so Ziomek is working towards the mid game. He isn't being overly aggressive with blink stalkers. He only has blink stalkers to defend, as he's working towards charge or towards a gateway heavy composition. So the game is going to be settling down. From here, uThermal is going to be able to expand and get into a 3rd if he so chooses to. Likewise, our Protoss player is just saturating their 3rd base as well, working towards charge, working towards, I imagine, Archon production, but we'll see. We're not there yet. Oh, the Observer comes in just in time. The army has been spotted. Ziomek knows. Gonna try and meet the army out on the map. Oh, gateway explosion is still finishing up. Gateways are still on the way. Charge is still not done. We're not ready for this. And Ziomek is being caught with his pants down. We do have the auto turrets. Overcharge gets popped. Can we hold on? With a tank, with the Widow Mines behind this as well. The shield battery gets depowered. We dive on top of the tank, but there's just too much bio here, and uThermal, he's knowing it, he's breaking through. He breaks through, he's gotten on top of the 3rd base. Again, we needed a couple more seconds. These gateways, they were a little bit too late, a couple of seconds too late. If only we had the gateways, if only we had that extra warp in. And we can see here, the tank finally goes down, but it's too late here at this point. We've killed the 3rd base. Ziomek knocked down to 2. And uThermal is in control. He's in full control of this game. Rallying everything across the map. 3rd base is now being taken on location. Mine shot's going to be going off here on these outs. GG gets called as uThermal snowballs out of control with his main race and does take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to uThermal. As he takes down Ziomek 2-1, and it was a bit of a back and forth, but I feel like this could have been a 2-0 in favor of Ziomek. I don't know, game 2 was a little bit bittersweet. How Ziomek, he saw what he needed to piece together that it wasn't all in, but the reaction to the all in was lackluster. That's what I will say. Is game 2, Ziomek, he didn't react hard enough here to scouting the all-in, and as a result, he wasn't ready for it, and we saw uThermal take advantage of him. And here in the ace match, uThermal able to play his main race, able to play a very crisp style there towards the end, pulling Ziomek apart left and right, and was able to take him down in the end. Some really clean play there out of uThermal with his Terran. Likewise, good execution of the all-in in game number 2 with his Zerg, but again, it was also on Ziomek because he scattered but didn't quite respond. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to uThermal. My condolences to Ziomek, as Ziomek is going to be knocked out, and uThermal advances on into the next round. But what exactly is going on in that next round? We're here to find out. ! RvP.